third-party titles are important, and with the latest Stadia announcement, I think it's as good a time as any to describe the games we want to see arrive on the platform. Now, before I begin, I want to make it clear that this is my personal wish list, but I want to hear yours down in the comments section below. I'll be making a follow-up video to this that showcases the community's wants and wishes, so be sure to make yourself heard. Now, I'm gonna begin with the most obvious choice, because it's one franchise that matters a lot to me and I end up playing it every single year. And that's Call of Duty. Yeah, I'm one of those guys, the one who buys it every single year regardless of how much of a change it is from the last iteration. It's become my go-to franchise for quick, mindless multiplayer fun. And I know I'm not alone when I say that, because the series itself has sold over 300 million copies as of 2019, and it really shows no signs of slowing down. Call of Duty Modern Warfare that released in 2019 broke franchise records. Not only that, but it also introduced Call of Duty Warzone, a free-to-play battle royale spin-off that last I checked had over 75 million players on its own. Impressive numbers to say the least, and I have no doubt that it would also impact the interest in Stadia overall. Additionally, it's also a franchise that's fully embraced crossplay support with input-based matchmaking, which is a huge bonus. Another one would be the fact that I no longer have to install the game locally on a hard drive. Call of Duty uses a ridiculous amount of space on my PS5 and my PC. Believe me, if I could get rid of that, I absolutely would. But that's enough about COD. Let's move on to another franchise I really want to see appear on Google Stadia. Monster Hunter World is one of the coolest damn games I've played in a really long time. There's no better feeling than teaming up with some buddies and going to slay a giant behemoth that's been giving you a pretty rough time. Now, I actually originally played these games way back in the PSP days, and they were some of the best games on that platform. Since then, a ton has changed, and Monster Hunter World has to be the most accessible entry so far. And due to its success, there's a very good chance we'll be seeing Monster Hunter World 2 in a few years. There were some rumors about a potential sequel coming to Stadia through the Capcom leaks that happened not long ago. But as with any rumor, be aware that until it's officially confirmed, you shouldn't get too excited. So why do I think this would make a good fit for Stadia? Well, to put it simply, Monster Hunter World only ran on consoles and PC. Visually speaking, the jump was stunning, but with Stadia, you can bring back that very same portability the franchise is known for. As someone who spent hundreds of hours on the game, I can't tell you enough how much I wish to be able to go on a hunt on the go. It's how a lot of people grew up with the franchise, so being able to play in that same way would be a huge bonus. And while people may not understand this, it's a huge IP. For Capcom, it's the second best-selling franchise they have, right behind Resident Evil, which is also rumored to be coming to Stadia from the very same Capcom leak. The next IP I'm talking about is Need for Speed. I'm a huge fan of the franchise and I grew up playing the series. To be very clear about this one, the last few entries into the series itself haven't been the best. They've been really focused on trying to recapture that Need for Speed Underground feel, but until their latest entry, Need for Speed Heat, they haven't really come that close. That said, I do think a bright future for the series actually lies ahead. With EA's most recent acquisition of Codemasters, they now have the skill and talent to deliver a solid racing game. And if I'm being realistic with you, I think the biggest hindrance to the Need for Speed franchise with the recent entries have always been the actual driving mechanics themselves. While it did manage to improve every new entry, it never really managed to recapture that arcade PS2 racing feel. But you know what recent title did manage to do that for me? It's Dirt 5. I've been playing it on my PlayStation 5, and it happens to be a title that's also making its way over to Stadia. I sincerely believe that if they take the same physics and driving model they made in Dirt 5 and apply it to Need for Speed, it would be the perfect game. At least in terms of arcade street racing games. Why would I like to see it on Stadia specifically? Well, that's because the only comparable game to it would be The Crew 2. It's open world and offers street racing as well as car customization, but it's not fully dedicated to that either. And what that leads to is a driving model that isn't the worst, but also isn't that great. It's a chill game to drive around in, but it doesn't really feel as tight or as controlled as other arcade racers out there. And speaking about filling voids in the current catalog, there is a fighter I want to see arrive to Stadia, and I'm talking about none other than Tekken. Now some of you I know will instantly jump on this and ask why I'm not talking about Street Fighter. And my simple reply to that is that I was a Tekken kid growing up. But on top of that, we don't have a dedicated 3D arena fighter on Stadia as of yet. And please don't be making jokes comparing this to WWE 2K Battlegrounds, it's not even on the same playing field. Tekken 7 is just an amazing game that's been getting continuous support and has a lasting community because of that. The game came out back in 2017 and they just got their Season 4 DLC back in November of last year. It speaks volumes not just about how dedicated the player base is, but how good that game must be for people to be continuously invested in it. By now though, I would assume Namco Bandai is actually working on the sequel to Tekken 7. And whatever that may be, I really do hope it gets brought over to Stadia and actually features crossplay support. Now let's move on to the last title I'm gonna suggest in this video, and it's a very obvious choice, because I'm talking about Grand Theft Auto. I really shouldn't need to explain why. After all, it's Grand Theft Auto, and that really goes to show just how powerful of a franchise it is. For crying out loud, GTA 5 has been ongoing not just for years, but entire console generations at this point. It's been on the PS3, PS4, and is now being ported over to the PS5. GTA Online has become a staple in the gaming industry and has raked in a massive amount of money. In addition to that, it's also raked in a ton of playtime. Seriously, the stats for this game are absolutely insane. I really do hope that whatever lies ahead for the franchise, be it GTA 6 or just a revamp of GTA Online, it ends up finding its way over to Stadia. Now, to wrap this whole video up, I really want to get one single point across. Google Stadia has just made some drastic changes, and while many of us are expecting that same money to be directed towards securing multi-platform titles, it's worth noting and pointing out that they've already secured over 400 games set for release just this year. We have no clue what they are, and outside of leaks like the Capcom leak, we really can't start suggesting what they may be. This video is purely from the perspective of what I want to see arrive on the platform. And it's a far cry from all the games I actually want to see arrive. There's a ton more I could have put on here, but I wanted to make sure the list had some variety. Not only that, but it's a list of games that I know plenty of people out there would recognize and know. Titles that I'm sure would be able to cause positive headlines and news stories everywhere. But trust me, I'm not trying to say only AAA titles matter. There are a ton of indie and smaller game studios making some fantastic games I'd like to see as well. So as I stated in the beginning, this is just a wish list, and now I want to hear your opinions of what you would like to add to it. I'll be making a follow-up to this showcasing the community's wants, and I'm really looking forward to hearing what you have to say. Now, if you enjoyed this video or found it helpful at all, be sure to hit that like button as it really does help the channel out, and if you're wanting more content like this, be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell as well. No end of video question today since the whole point of the video is to get you to answer a question, but I do want to give you my thanks for checking it out. As always, this has been Generation Stadia, giving you that daily dose of everything and anything cloud gaming related. The Gen S community is over 8,100 strong and growing by the day, and until next time, I'll catch you in the clouds.